Well, I think it's really good. We really came out of what I call the regional meet. They call it the first round of the NCAA in Sacramento, and couldn't be more happy with really what we got out and what we've got going into this final championship week next week. So I think our confidence level is really good.
You guys have won the Big 12 obviously quite a few times recently, and haven't been able to take that next step, to get that national title. What is it really that's missing just to take that last final step and really get over the hump and get that first national title?
I think what people don't quite understand is winning a national championship is really hard, and things have just got to be perfect, and you got to line up. Everything's got to line up right, and I think it's just hard. Either you're not totally healthy when you have that meet, or either you you hadn't been there before, and we have definitely can say all those things. But I think the difference in this group, and I feel very confident. I just had a team meeting, and I just told them that, is be confident in what we've been doing. And I think by failing some and having an opportunity to have been there and done that, I think they know what to expect way more. And I think you learn something failing a couple of times. And I think they're ready for this challenge.
All that being said, one of the ways that you can help your chances is have a lot of bullets in the gun, and you're taking the largest amount of athletes this year. That's got to be helpful going into the situation.
I think our kids see that, and you're exactly right. They realize we've got more people, more bodies to go, more opportunities to score, and I think it gives them a lot of confidence knowing, wow, I don't have to do this all by myself. We've got a lot of help.
You didn't really, from the men's standpoint in individual events, you pretty much had everybody advance that was in the top 12, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Anybody in the top 12 made it out. And so, I've been that meet, I can't tell you how many times, and that's never happened. So I think it's just a testament to this group and the opportunities that they've had to be in the fire a little bit more than a lot of teams I've had in the past. And I think that makes a big difference.
Your 4x4, I noticed you didn't run Divine or AJ on it. What was the rationale there? You just wanted to make sure you're safe with them? Or?
Very, very tough decision. We mulled it over before, but I had kind of made that decision that I was going to go with those four that ran. I backed off Divine and AJ at the Big 12 by not running them quite as much, and I would have had to run them another 400 to probably have gotten that out. And I just felt like that with the way our qualifying had gone during that meet and how many bullets that we did get out, we're in good shape. We just need to go do well in the events we got. And I was hoping the 4x4 would get there, and then we'd make the call after the 100 and the 200 prelims of whether those guys would get to run on the 4x4. But, disappointed that it didn't get out, but I feel really good about where we are, and you just can't do it all. My history has told me 35 years of coaching is, if you're worried about doing too much, then you need to back off a little bit. So I'm going for quality, and if we do what we need to do in the events we've got qualified, we're going to be fine.
How much of the, I don't want to say lack of success, but the disappointment at the indoor for the men's team is fueling some of the fire for the outdoor this season?
I definitely think it's a big part. I think the kids did come out of that meet a little bit embarrassed and a little bit disappointed, and we had two injuries that were there right at the last minute, and it was hard to take because we had great expectations. But I'm really proud of how they've rebounded and kind of what we've done all year. It's been a pretty spectacular season so far, and we want to finish it out.
And in the pole vault specifically, you have Brandon and Michael kind of going in like a sudden death almost, and to be able to see both of them qualify, how big is that, just especially both of them being seniors?
Yeah, I'm sitting over there being nervous. Two A&M guys and two of ours, and we got to eliminate some, and so you're always worried. But it's a thrill to get both of them in this meet, and both of them are jumping the best they've jumped all year in the last few meets, and their practices have been incredible. And so, I think they're the big sleepers in this meet, that they have an opportunity to get in there and score, and they may not be ranked there right now, but just excited to have two in there.
In your crew, you've got Jonah and Vince also going in the 800. Can you talk a little bit about what the preparation will be for them this weekend heading into it, and what your thoughts are on getting both of them to qualify?
Yeah, we were so thrilled. We got three long jumpers, two 800 guys, on and on, but I was real proud because, I work with that group specifically, and to get them there, to give us more bullets. Wednesday is the day. We're going to know right off the bat. We've got final in the long jump. We've got final in the javelin. We've got prelims, and we got the first day of the deck. but we've got prelims in everything. And we're going to know where we stand after Wednesday. And that's where we have got to be ready to roll is first day. And then we get a rest day, and then we come back on Friday.
Gut feeling for men's and women's. What's the point total for the national title?
Man, I'm not even going to touch that. I just hope we score enough to be a big difference in that meet. I told the kids I'm not going to give this big rah-rah speech about winning the national championship. I just want them to go in and be confident in what they've done and the work that we put in and the workouts, the fabulous practices we've had. Remember those things and go in there and do your job, and we'll be fine.
One more.
Yeah, Coach, you've mentioned a couple times there where you thought they could learn from, the NCAA's the last few years. But is there anything you've seen that they've taken from that you can tangibly see in practice where it just seems like a different team than, even earlier in the season or past seasons?
Yeah, I see more confidence like at the regional meet this past weekend. We didn't go in there last year and be able to handle that. And it's a tough meet. Everyone doesn't understand it. The long jumpers just got 3 jumps. The throwers just got 3 throws. It's called the prelims, and you don't ever get to throw in the finals. We don't have one meet all year we get to do that. So it's a lot of pressure on them, whether they're really good or not, because they could mess up on one, then you start thinking about it. That's what we've done better, is even when we fouled on the first attempt or we would do this, we didn't panic, and we've just really, I think, matured there to where that's the big difference I see in this group.
We practice a lot together, and we really just push each other to the limits each time we get on the track. Either if it's practice or if it's track meets, we go back and forth at practice, we go back and forth at track meets, so we really just push each other and strive to get together and go to nationals together. Happy we both made it.
Your coach talked about just learning from the past NCAA tournament experiences and just even throughout the season winning a couple of Big 12 titles. He said a lot of times it just takes time going through these experiences to get where you guys want to go. How have you personally felt that throughout this year to be at the perfect point heading into this weekend?
It's been a long season, so we're really just practicing hard and just trying to get it one meet at a time and just perform as best as we can each time we step on the track.
The Big 12 is probably the best conference in the country for middle distance if you look at it. So what's that like going through the whole season and Big 12s and regionals, and just knowing that a lot of your main competition next week are kids that you've run against several times this year?
That makes it much easier for us. I feel like, we know how to race them, and you get used to strategies and stuff like that. Obviously, 5th fastest in the Big 12 right now is a 147.6. So, every time you step on the track, it's going to be fast, and we've been used to running against them in the competition. So now when we get to the other competitors, we don't race the fastest, so now we know what to do.
Does that take the mystery out of it, or how does that really help you guys having gone against them before?
It gives us more confidence because we've raced them before. It's not going to be a new experience to us. So, when you get used to it, it's from indoors, outdoor, and our last, 3 seasons with them. So now we're getting ready to race them and run fast.
I think Coach Kittle in the past has talked about how the NCAA meet is one of the best meets in the world.
Yeah,
What is
that's right.
that level of competition like from your standpoint since you've competed in it a few times?
Yeah, I've been to nationals every time since I've been in college, so I'm getting used to the competition, the big stage, a lot of people being there. So since my freshman year I was on the 4x4 and stuff like that, so I think that's matured me to get ready to run there by myself at the 800.
And he's also talked about the difficulty of, he said how hard it is to win a national championship. I know seems like a lot of times coaches had some bad luck with different guys not having their best meet at different times at the NCAA. And I was trying to remember, didn't you have an experience a year or two ago where maybe you didn't advance quite as far as you expected?
Yeah, I didn't make it as far because of tripping, clipping, and just got in bad positioning.
Yeah.
Well, now, from recovering from that, so now I done been in that position that I know I got to get in good position, stay up and stay in the front, and just make my moves in the right time. Me and Coach been working on that since I've been a freshman, that I was going out too slow and trying to kick it up at the end, and it wasn't working when we got to the big meet. So now I'm really more of an up front runner, trying to stay up there with the front and just qualify and survive in advance.
And what was that, last year or 2 years ago when that happened?
My junior year, I got 4th at nationals, ended up getting 10th and not making it to the national final. So definitely trying to make a national final this year and put us some big points up for the team.
You mentioned the points. How much have you guys either, maybe not in meetings, but when you're hanging out with the rest of the team, do you guys talk about the number 1 ranking for the men's team?
Yeah, we look at the number 1 rankings. We watch with FloTrax talking about everybody, and we calculate with ourselves, like, what's the worst thing that can happen for us to still to win? What's the best thing that can happen? Certain scenarios. So we always do that, add each other's points up together, and we every time we think we can win every scenario. So I would definitely think we can go into nationals with this positive mindset and winning this thing.
How much does the disappointment that you guys had at indoors factor in how you guys have handled the outdoors this year?
It makes us say, don't look at the national rankings. It means nothing. No matter how many points you're projected to win by, nobody's just going to hand it to you. You got to go take it. So we're definitely more hungry now because we're like, well, we've been number one ranked 3 times in a row each season, and we didn't win it. So, or been on the podium. So now we're definitely just trying to go out there and just be the best we can, get on the podium and actually win.
One more.
Coach Kitley has talked a lot about how the most elite teams in the country are comprised of a bunch of juniors and seniors and people who have a lot of experience at this level. Can you just speak to how special this group of seniors is, and when you look at how many have advanced to nationals, the difference that makes for you guys to have had the experience at this level?
Well, me, Charles, AJ, Devine, O'Dane, we all came in together. So it's like we grew up together. We seen that we was happy to be ranked number 14 at one time, to go all the way to number 1 and to go to regionals, and now we're all making nationals together. It's, Slim too, even on the girls' side. So we're all happy to be there for each other and supporting each other because we've seen us all develop, better runners and better jumpers. So we're definitely ready to compete at the big level now.
Yeah, so week 1 of indoors, I broke my foot, and that set me back. So I missed the rest of indoors. And started training right when outdoors started getting back into shape for it, and Drew's really helped me push through that injury, keeping up with him, and it just kind of worked my way back into it now, and I knew I'd be jumping higher bars a lot later in the year this year.
How long did that injury keep you down?
Yeah, I had to, it took about 8 weeks to fully recover from that injury.
Did that happen first meet or during practice?
At the very last jump of the first meet was when it happened. Yeah.
So do you get that indoor season back from
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really positive on that yet.
Talk a little bit about what going through a jump off at the regional meet means, and you and Drew had to go through it together, and to win some of those final spots. Can you talk a little bit about what the atmosphere is like for a jump off, and then kind of the momentum that gets you knowing that you made it out of it and now you got to bid to nationals again?
Yeah, so the way I looked at the jump off is just, survive. How am I going to survive, and then how is Drew going to survive? So Drew was up first and missed it, and then the A&M guy missed it, so 3 spots left. Didn't matter if I cleared or make it, Drew can get in still. So the pressure was off me a little bit, but still I just wanted to first jump it, get it out of the way, and go ahead and qualify.
Did you, after you had that injury, was there any any concern mentally about being able to compete at a high level outdoor, or did it kind of come back to you pretty quick?
No, I wasn't concerned very much at all. I knew it'd be later in the year before I started jumping the higher bars, but here I am now, so I'm not too worried about it.
How well do you feel?
You clear that bar on the first attempt, right?
Yeah.
So you already know that you're in. What was that moment like when you see Drew cleared and you're just like, oh,
yeah,
I
so
made it and you made it
watching both of us clear it, it's just like a big sign of relief. Like, that's all we went to California was for, that reason only, was just so both of us can qualify in advance and give us 2 more weeks of training so we can go in and have a really good shot at, placing on the podium at nationals.
So you look at some of the top pole vaulters around the country, it's pretty spread out in terms of experience. Like, there's a lot of good freshmen and sophomores and a lot of good juniors and seniors. You and Drew have been there before. Can you talk a little bit about, just how experience plays a role in going in there with good competition, having been there before?
Yeah, so it's always a completely different atmosphere going to the nationals meet, because it's a lot more people, a lot more distractions, especially being in like a big city like Austin. So you have to keep your mind right. Starting now, like Coach Kitley said, starting a week or 2 in advance, just getting ready and preparing yourself mentally to go down there and compete at that high of a level.
We were asking Vince earlier about they have competed against some of the best 800 guys all year, because a lot of those guys are in the Big 12. It's kind of the same thing with the pole vaulters, right?
Yeah, I feel like the pole vault's the same. Pretty much the whole Western region is really strong in the pole vault, and especially in the Big 12 now. It's definitely, I feel, probably one of the hardest conferences to pole vault in.
Coming out of high school, I was a 300 hurdler mainly, and I started running the 100 hurdles, and I became very good at both of them. And when I went on my recruiting, I asked every coach, the main thing that I want to do is stay a dual hurdler. And a lot of coaches promised that they could do that, and when I ended up going to Oregon, I found out very quickly that that wasn't something that was going to be maintained. So I had to choose between which hurdles, I was going to do. And I mean, obviously, well, for me, it was the easy choice because the 100 hurdles are so much easier on the body. So I decided to go with the 100 hurdles. But when I got here, I made it a main focus. Like, I wanted to be able to do a hurdler, and I know that I could do it. And I just needed somebody to get behind me, somebody that could train or do a hurdler and just go through the journey with me with it.
What was it that caused you to leave Oregon, and what was it that caused you to pick Tech?
Well, there are a lot of things that went into my decision to leave the University of Oregon. First off, I want to say thank you to them for everything that they did for me, but the main thing, I just wasn't happy. And as I was producing results, I found that it just wasn't making me happy anymore. I was in a very low place in my life, and I just felt like it wasn't the environment that I needed in order to be able to succeed as a person outside of being an athlete. And I had never taken a visit to Texas Tech. I had never even seen the Texas Tech facilities or anything, but Coach Glavish reached out to me once I went into the portal, and I don't know, it was just something in him when he spoke to me. I just felt like it was the right thing to do, it was the right place. It was one of the people that I feel like I could believe in, and you guys opened your arms wide, and I came on in. So
you've been pretty happy here, sounds like?
I have been probably the happiest that I've been in my collegiate career, and it's crazy because I've only been here, a few months. It's been a short time, but I've made more friends here than I've made all years at Oregon. I feel like I fit in with the people around me. The environment is great. Everything is just lifting up. Like, I just feel like a weight's lifted off of my shoulders. I don't feel pressured. I don't feel like a commodity. I feel like an actual person, and I think that I have mentors here that grow me in every way that I'm asking to be grown.
How do you feel like that freedom has maybe made a difference in the way that you've been able to compete this year?
I think that mentally I've been just free to run. I haven't been thinking about winning or what's going to happen after I'm done with college or what. Sorry. It's just been
You're okay.
I've had a long year, and so to be at a place where I can just run, and Coach Rob told me when I got here, we're not looking for you to be our savior. We don't need you to do anything crazy, and to just be able to run and not feel like everything is on the line every time I step on the line has just been, I haven't ran any times that are super crazy, but to be able to just compete with the rest of everybody else and be able to make it to nationals after not having fall training and not, lifting weights or anything, I'm just out here running, and that's been a blessing in disguise. Like, nobody will be able to understand that.
So now that you've had a chance to be able to run both of those events, the 100 and the 400 meter hurdles, which would you say that you have enjoyed the most this outdoor season?
Honestly, I've enjoyed the 400 hurdles because it's something new, and I think that in that race it just gives me a lot more time to be able to make like money moves. Like in the 100 hurdles, I'm just out there running. It's happening so fast, I don't really know what's happening, but in the 400 hurdles, it gives me a lot of time to be like, okay, you gotta go, you can relax a little bit or whatever. But I think the strongest athletes are 400 hurdlers, so I'm just happy to be able to be back a part of that group.
I was trying to remember, you've made finals at NCAA championships every year basically, right?
I missed finals 1 year. I hit the last hurdle on the 100 hurdles, but every other year I've made finals in the 100 hurdles, and I've been able to compete in a lot of relays at nationals also. So, but this year I'm just not even thinking about it. Whatever happens. I don't feel like I have anything to prove. I don't feel like I have anything on my back. I'm just gonna go run, and just making it here for me is like I'm already doing stuff that I didn't even think that I could do. But I have this big team behind me that believes in me. So if I make it, then I make it. If I don't, then I'm just hoping I go out there and run good times and have a good race.
So when you're at Oregon, I assume you're probably feeling quite a bit of pressure. That's the kind of preeminent track program in America has been for a lot of years, how much pressure is there on athletes there to perform? And
I mean, I think that, you know, across the board, there's always a lot of pressure to perform at a high velocity at every school. But when you're surrounded by the best all the time, everyone that comes in here is already at the top, then it's always like, I always have to be better. I always have to be on top. I always have to, everything is a competition. Who gets to the weight room first? Who leaves last? Who does everything? And at first it's like, it's a good way to get yourself into shape really fast, but it's very taxing on the mind, and you don't think about that. Like, you're good when you're running, you're happy when you're winning, but then when you're losing, you're putting all of this energy into something and it's not coming back out the way that you want it to. You don't really have a lot of stuff to fall back on. That's when it becomes like, when it takes you into a very dark place, because you're surrounded by so many other people who have all the success. So when you're not a part of that group, it's really hard. It takes a really strong person to be able to keep going and to not fall victim to that.
you just got here, what, January?
February.
February?
Yeah. So I just jumped right on in, and I got here. There was already big indoor meets. I missed the 2 big indoor meets at Texas Tech, so indoors was already rolling, and I was just throw me on the track. I think I opened up with the 4x4 with a 56 split, and I thought I was running like 51 pace. So, I've come a long way.